Let's be clear. Saving money when you earn well is much easier than when you earn little. That's for sure. We shouldn't kid ourselves. But in this video, I want to give you some practical strategies to save money even if you have a low salary. First of all, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, or check if you usually watch my videos but maybe you're not subscribed, because sometimes this happens too. Help me grow, guys, because the goal is to reach 100,000 subscribers. So first of all, I want to start this video with a phrase that I want to repeat endlessly in my videos from now on. And that is, it's not important how much you earn, but it's important how you manage your money. I know that, of course, for those who earn little, this can seem like a utopia. Because someone might say, well, wow, if I earned more, if I had more money, if I could have 100,000 euros, oh, right and left, I would definitely have a better life. Yes, but if you don't know how to manage your money, you would still be broke. I can guarantee you that, because I've seen many people earn well. And anyway, getting to 45 days after your paycheck is deposited with €0 in the bank and everything on edge, just waiting for the paycheck to arrive, that's really very important. Now it's about saving. Obviously, you see, I'm referring to and repaying. Absolutely, for top-ups. Now, it's not like that. You can save a little, you can save less than someone who earns more, but you can still save, okay? Now, if you have this belief, which is called a limiting belief, you're limiting yourself. Because it's a bit like those kids, right? When they say they don't want to eat something, and what do you tell them? Okay, but if you've tasted it, you know what it's like. How can you know you don't like it if you haven't even tasted it? In the end, it's kind of the same thing. I mean, you're convinced you can't save money, but have you tried? No, maybe you haven't even tried. But if you're already convinced you're going to lose, it's obvious you won't even go play the game when you already know you're doomed. So definitely an important job is to change our thoughts about money a bit. This is really fundamental. The fact of saying, okay, maybe now it's going to be harder, maybe I can only save a little, but I can do it. Surely in the future things will get better and I'll be able to do more. Yes, it's a positive thought that leads you to open your mind a bit to the realm, as I call it, the realm of possibility. That is, to being able to achieve something, maybe slowly, maybe with some stops and starts. But it's possible to reach it. So, an important job is the one to do on your own mind and your own thoughts. Another belief that people who earn little have is that managing their own money is useless. Because I earn so little anyway, it's not like I'll ever have money. Why the heck should I bother managing money, wasting time and all that? Ultimately, I don't have it, can't save, it's tough, and by month's end, I give up. Okay, this is very often the mindset, which is the wrong mindset. Because money management, for those who earn well, for those who earn a lot, is necessary and recommended, but for those who earn little, it's not just important or essential, it's vital. In fact, it's exactly because you earn little that you should manage every single euro that comes into your home as best as possible, because you earn little. One thing you definitely need to do to understand this mechanism is to have awareness. I've talked about it often in my videos, guys. I know it's been a while since I made this kind of video. So I hope that the new subscribers pick up on all these lessons, all these things that I can share. First of all, I experienced it myself, and the first fundamental step is awareness. To be aware of where your money goes, you need to track every single euro, get yourself a nice notebook, and write down every day where you spend your money. Okay, guys, I talk about this in detail later in my video course, where I'll also give you some tools and PDFs to download. There are several things. You can find them in this video's description. Obviously, the price is low and affordable for almost everyone. Precisely because my goal is to help people understand that managing money is really important, especially if you earn little. That said, another important thing is to understand the way of thinking, the philosophy of minimalism, which is the philosophy that personally saved my life. Because we are used to living with too many things. I mean, we have more things than we actually need to live. So the secret is also to really simplify your life. And be careful, you shouldn't see this as giving something up, like something where you can't do certain things, like you have to make sacrifices or this and that, but as a philosophy that allows you to simplify your life, to have fewer problems. What should you buy instead? I mean, I'll give you a very simple and extreme example. Okay, and it's extreme, I know. Let's take the example of the dryer. Okay, my wife has been nagging me for I don't know how many years about the dryer, okay? The point is that you can see how, others have a dryer. The convenience, I can't afford it. Having a dryer is still an extra problem because first you have to buy it, second it uses more energy, so you end up increasing your fixed expenses. And if you already earn little, paying attention to electricity consumption is vital, if not essential. Saving 10 or 15 euros a month on your bill adds up to real money by year's end. Because the point is that we always have to see things in relation, but we'll talk about this in a bit. So the dryer uses energy, and it's also another thing that can break, which means another unexpected problem and another expense. It's the same thing for a second car. Sometimes people who don't earn much have two cars in the family, but the second car isn't really that essential. I mean, maybe you can even find some workarounds. Sure, it's true, I might have to put in a bit more effort, but I get rid of an expense that really affects my family budget. Okay, and also the second car, it's true, it's a convenience. For goodness sake, I'm the first to admit it, because my wife and I have always had just one car. We've never had two cars. It's true, sometimes it's a hassle, because you have to coordinate things, because you can't make a certain trip or go somewhere because the other person has the car. But I have to say that this has allowed me to do many things in my life. I have one less expense and unexpected problem. Because we know very well that there's the purchase of the car, there's the insurance, there's the road tax, there's the fuel, there are the maintenance costs, there are unexpected expenses, and there's the inspection. Okay, there are a lot of related expenses. It's not just about buying the car. So, simplify. The fewer things you have, the more freedom you have, the more money you have in your pocket, but above all, you have fewer worries, fewer things to fix, to repair. Now, when it comes to minimalism, let's say it's not really my topic. But if you want, we can also make a series of videos where we talk about minimalism and how important it is to simplify your life. But even if you earn well, even if you still have a decent salary, why do we need to have 15 pairs of pants when in the end we always wear the same 3 pairs? For example, when it comes to clothes, it's something I've done a lot. I have 3 pairs of jeans, not 5 or 10, just 3. If one breaks, I just replace it. Sometimes I take minimalism a bit too far. It's because I ended up with only 1 pair of shoes, which broke, and I had to go straight to the store to buy a new one because, I was left without shoes. So, you shouldn't overdo it either, but that's minimalism. What do you do with 10 or 15 sweaters when in the end you always wear the same 2, 3 or 4? Why have 10 pairs of shoes? Okay? I know that when you earn little, then the frustration mechanism kicks in. And what does this do? It has the opposite effect, right? You're frustrated because you know you earn little and make sacrifices. So what do you do as soon as you get your paycheck to try to feel a little better? You buy something? Yeah, okay, but Fabio Marchione? I bought a t-shirt, but it only cost 5 euros. It's cheap, right? At least I have something new. Okay, but those 5 euros for that t-shirt weren't really necessary. First, because you feel good for not even half a day. And then this effect, this joy, this illusion of happiness, it ends. 2 to 5 euros less in your wallet, 3, most likely with your shirt. Since you wanted it so much, you don't even wear it. After maybe 2 weeks, you realize you don't like it, it doesn't fit you that well, it doesn't match this and that. In the end, you wasted 5 euros. But this happens with a lot of things, and maybe in your monthly budget, it ends up affecting you by 50 euros, 60 euros, 80 euros, which is a lot if you have a low salary. Okay, because we could use that money to do something else more important. So minimalism, definitely. Now, another very important strategy is the envelope method. I know that nowadays there's a push to eliminate cash more and more, but for those who earn little, this is a fundamental strategy. Maybe you've already heard about it. It's called the envelope method for managing money. What does it involve? It involves withdrawing all your money at the beginning of the month. So when you get your salary, and dividing it into envelopes separated by category. For example, groceries, fuel, and so on. I don't know, the pharmacy, for example, bills. Bills might go through the bank, so that's a bit different. But I have to divide it among all the spending categories I have during the month. This is because it allows me to increase my awareness of money. Why? Because nowadays, when we spend with the automated teller machine card, it's different. Paying 50 euros to a shopkeeper when making a purchase, either in cash or by swiping a card, on a psychological level, it's very different. And the marketing geniuses know it. And that's exactly why they're pushing people more and more toward digital payments. Now you just tap your phone to pay, no need to swipe anymore. However, this lowers your awareness of your spending. And so sometimes, if you're not in the habit of checking your account properly, you get to a point where you look at it and say, oh my God, I have no money left. There are still 10 days until the end of the month. I still have to buy groceries. What do I do? This method gives you much more awareness. So what's the point? You leave all the expenses that go through your bank account on your bank account. Maybe, I don't know. You have the bills, you have the mortgage, you leave all those there and you count them. The rest you withdraw all in cash and divide it into envelopes. Right above groceries, leisure, and gas. All the categories you need, you keep them there in your cabinet, wherever you want. And when you need to spend money on a specific thing, you take it from there. Dividing your money into categories can really change your life. It was the same for me. I wasn't used to doing it. But it definitely makes you realize a lot of things, and above all, you know that that specific money is meant for that purpose. Because very often what happens is that we might spend extra money on entertainment and then we don't have it for groceries. We spend more on groceries and then we don't have it for entertainment or for the pharmacy or for other things. So this is something that really helps you become aware. I myself now have several bank accounts, and each account has a purpose. Each account is designated for a specific thing. The account that is designated for. Maybe unexpected expenses, the smaller ones, maybe car expenses. Rather than the dentist, I know that I have money that I set aside, that I put there. So I know that when I go to the dentist, or when the kids go to the dentist and have to pay, I pay with that specific card. Okay, but for daily expenses, maybe I use my account, the joint one with my wife, where in fact most of the money comes in for long-term expenses, the planned ones. Maybe I use another app to do this kind of thing. And this helps me divide my expenses and not get confused. Because when all the money is in one place, you have less control. And the point is to have control over your own money and not the other way around. The last tip, the last thing I want to leave you with is about goals. That is, setting goals for yourself. I also talk about this in great detail in my video course, which, as I mentioned before, you can find at the link in the description if you're interested. And start setting savings goals for yourself. Even if they're small, you need to set goals, especially at the beginning. Even setting aside 20 euros a month is fine. It's fine, because what's important is to create the habit. What's important is to take the first step. What's important is to start understanding that saving is possible, even if you earn little. You need this, because when you notice even a little change, it's impressive. Network, it gave us a part. I go to sleep feeling strange. And thank you, Princey, for saying it isn't true. Are you handling accounting and Manzano form training left over the bridge? A corner that, without ornaments, recalls something great that... of no lines, projects to meet with itself. Yesterday, meaning this month, I did better than last month. Today I did better than yesterday. This week I did better than last week. If I think about this and I've made progress, that's good, even if they're small. Why? Because in the beginning you take small steps, but then it happens before you notice. After about 3 months, you realize that, I don't know, if you can already set aside 150 to 200 euros, is it better than having nothing set aside or not? Yes, it's better. And yet many people, when they earn little, say, well, what's the point of doing it just to have 200 euros set aside? I don't even do it. This is the most wrong mindset you can have. Why? Because that 200 euros, if something unexpected happens to you there, or if something even bigger occurs, luckily you have that money. Imagine if you didn't have it, okay? So you need to start thinking this way. The last tip I was telling you is to also think in terms of proportion, because it's true that those who earn more can save more, but it's all relative. So we need to start thinking in percentages relative to our salary. Because it's obvious that someone who earns 1,500 euros, as I always say, should save at least 10%, which is 150 euros. Someone who earns 3,000 saves 300. Okay, but I can't help comparing myself to someone saving 300 euros a month since he earns twice as much as me, right? So, here's a quick tip about dividing money. There's a small mistake here. Guys, let me explain it to you right away. We need to try to divide the money in these percentages. 60% for necessities, 10% savings for unexpected expenses, 5% for annual expenses. Stamp duty, insurance, waste tax, all those annual expenses, I set them aside so that when they come up, boom, I pay them. 20% for leisure here, I had put 15 and 5 for extras, but then I revised this formula and changed it a bit. So 20% for leisure and 5% for medium or long-term savings. That could be buying a car or a washing machine, a dishwasher, maybe at first the dishwasher. I know mine as well. It's starting to get a bit old. I create a fund where I slowly set aside a little, and when it's time to change it, boom, I pay cash. Okay, why? Because I thought about it ahead of time. That said, guys, I hope I've given you some important information, but above all, I hope I've broken down your limiting belief about if. I earn little, I can't save, or I don't need to manage my money. If I did, give me a nice like, of course. Subscribe if you haven't already. Write to me in the comments. Let me know in the comments if I made you change your mind. And of course, as usual, I'll see you around.